Let me remind you, it's a special time we're in right now in the Matrix. And this is some serious shit, pioneers. This is your life changing as we know it. And I've been preparing you for the last 2 years. But only those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear will take advantage of this time and prepare for the biggest shift in generational wealth and the biggest shift in our economic cycle we have ever witnessed. But right now, there's 99 psychological operations of fear on the wall, and you're better off just drinking a beer. Cheers, pioneers. We've got a whole lot to talk about today, and if you've made it here, it's for a reason. You have a great power, pioneers, and with great power comes great responsibility. You see, real eyes, they realize real lies. And lies can never stand next to and measure up to the truth. And every lie shall be revealed, pioneers. The truth, it makes the lies look bad. And millions of people are beginning to wake up. And I've told you, not everybody wakes up at the same time. You see, people, though, they're waking up to the fact that this matrix life is nothing more than a meme. And all it took was a little bit of higher gas prices. Can I get a hello? You see, people are waking up to the lies of the you gotta wear a mask and then you don't, but now you do. And now China's breaking out with 3,400 new cases. They're waking up to the there were no biolabs in Ukraine, but now they're seeing there were US funded biolabs in Ukraine. And it's always the same corrupt individuals telling us these things. The same ones that said inflation was transitory. But now we see it's here to stay, running rampant on your savings accounts and your spending ability, deplenishing your purchasing power. See, these are the same people that released a virus on the world and cheated in an election. The same ones that set up the biolabs in Ukraine. It's the same people. The same ones that want to bring us into the Great Reset. The same ones that committed treason and crimes against humanity at the highest levels. The same people. The ones who want the Constitution gone. They hate the Constitution. It's always the same people. They're corrupt. You're beginning to see and understand, aren't you, pioneers? That the whole world is a stage. And that the whole universe, well, it lies within inside you. Within your every thought, your perspective, and within your heart space. And I bet so many people, just like so many people in the Matrix right now, I imagine you now realize that to be able to find peace, you must first be at peace with yourself. Can I get a hello? And to truly enjoy life, you must first enjoy who you are. The greatest gift we can ever give ourselves, pioneers, is the gift of self recognition. These inorganic ones and these apex predators are trying to steal that gift from you. This gift of self recognition. Put on your mask, they said. Don't ever allow someone to steal your recognition, pioneers. Know thyself. Carpe diem. Seize the day, pioneers. You see, the highest self, your highest self, it doesn't sit in a place way up high on a shelf, on a mountaintop. It is the truest aspect of who you are. It is buried deep down inside of you, under layers of pain, subliminal programming, what our friends, parents, our teachers told us to be. Underneath all of this sits the real you that is patiently waiting to be set free. My soul recognizes your soul, pioneers, and I honor the love, light, beauty, truth, and kindness within you because it is also within me. And when sharing these things, there is no distance or no difference between us. We are the same, pioneers. We are one. Namaste. What you believe in your hearts and speak in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality one day. And what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset. And what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset becomes an unconscious action and an unconscious activity. And I just want mine to be guideful and helpful and nurturing to others, pioneers. So I'm back out here again today, sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever you are in the matrix. Certainly hope you're all doing well. I want to come and do another educational, informational video for you all today, centered around technical analysis with a small amount of decode and market psychology and sentiment. Um, as well as common sense and a little bit of red pill for you all. What bamboozle today. So get back, kick back, get your favorite drink, light up your favorite strand, you know, get your favorite snack, and we'll get dived into this. I had this pulled up on the area view for you all so we could view the charts right now at the structure it's building in a more calm fashion on the area view before we transitioned into the candles, which is what I'm about to do. Um, but right now we're still sitting at that 37K, been hanging out at that 38K most of the day today. So very important that we notice this and keep that on our mind as we talk about this video tonight. That 38 is going to be pretty important. Um, but again, seeing that 37K right now, not surprising because we are still in Pisces, and if you're followed my work, Pisces gives us that 37. So it's not surprising to see this 37K right now as we are still in Pisces. We see our recent breakout on March 9th on 3/9/39, very important as well. Um, I also told you in one of my latest videos that 3/5, 3/6, 3/7, and 3/8 were very important dates that I thought to be utilized by the occult. Very powerful numbers right there. Um, Giving us a low those 4 days in our microstructure before this breakout on 3/9 that we saw. That was followed by downside pressure, bringing us back down to around that 37K right now. So invalidating our W pattern breakout that we've been so adamant on seeing. We got that breakout. We didn't push higher to continue that. We got stopped out at our neckline. So, we've seen invalidated pattern after invalidated pattern for the last 4 months. So none of this is surprising. I don't really think that means we should be bearish right now because we've still held structure when we look back in time. Holding these lows of 29K, very important. Still holding 36K as support right now. Very bullish for us to see. Just consistently setting higher lows, and that's important. But we have been in this downtrend followed by sideways, boring price action. But I'm still very bullish on cryptocurrency moving forward. I do know that here recently, when I've spoken to people, they've been frustrated and upset, and they just seem defeated when it comes to cryptocurrency. And when in all reality, we should all be very bullish and extremely excited right now about cryptocurrency. I teach my pioneers to smile when they see this, that this is the greatest time in human history. We're so early, and that we should look at this like venture capital. When it's underbought and there's blood in the streets, we're taking advantage of these time frames because we're part of the uncommon 1%. But I do understand where some people are coming from because It's been a long year of choppy, boring, sideways, down, up, just price action that has seemed to left everyone just ugh. And I get it. You may have bought tops of the markets and sold bottoms, you know. Um, Liquidation events got leveraged out of the markets. You may have saw unrealized gains that you didn't take advantage of once, twice even, and you were left holding the bag right now. And you watched your magical pixie dust money just evaporate. I get it. You're not alone, pioneers. But the most important thing to understand is that the reason that people are feeling frustrated and upset is because they don't build a fundamental investment thesis and stick to it. They don't stand firm. They don't keep their word, you know? That's why they're feeling like this. They're not studying wealth preservation, nor are most of them confident to hold their assets or believe that they'll one day see them rise again. Most of them are getting flooded out of the market because of the news or the narratives or whatever. They're stuck chasing pumps and buying tops in the markets or selling lows because they're not building a fundamental investment thesis and doing their own due diligence and research and learning how to do technical analysis. And I'm certainly not calling anyone out. I'm just speaking on what I've personally been seeing on the last 4 months since we've been in this downtrend in cryptocurrency. And I'm speaking from someone that's been in this for years through all stages of cryptocurrency now. And I know that these markets, they run on emotions. And it's humans that are overly emotional that cause these markets to move. Because the uncommon 1%, the apex predators, the elite, they harvest our energy like batteries. You know, us, the market participants, were used as batteries. So after coming out of this recent high in the markets, we've seen a lot of people that are overly emotional in this downtrend and choppy sideways boring period because they're overinvested. And they're probably one of the ones that didn't do their due diligence and research, and one of the ones that bought the tops or sold the lows, you know, or one of the ones that held throughout this time period and didn't take profits and saw unrealized gains get evaporated, you know. And every time I've seen this sentiment in the market, it's usually right before we see a reversal, you know, like C19 in March of 2020. Happy 2 year anniversary, pioneers. We'll talk about this later tonight. But it's usually right before a reversal. We know how scary this time frame was, correct? It's not surprising. This is so common, though, pioneers, to see everybody frustrated and just ready to give up right before we see a breakout. Not surprising. So we'll see what happens in the near distant future as we move forward. But, you know, as for a reversal and this choppy, boring, sideways price action, it's common to see this sentiment before one. You know, these markets are designed to keep you feeling completely drained and ugh, not knowing what's going on and confused. It's designed to steal your emotions. And the people that allow the emotions to win over the investment thesis and the due diligence and the research, those people would be the ones that get wrecked, pioneers, as we get ready to finish this bull run off. Because these are usually the same people that sell and panic buy the tops and bottoms of markets. That's why I wish more people would actually watch and understand the work that we're doing here and the fundamental thesis that we're trying to share with the world. You know, and when I tell people that I barely even look at these crypto charts anymore, they short circuit and their minds blown. They freak out and they don't understand. But I'm not addicted, and I see how addicted some get to this crypto sector and how they let it consume them. Pioneers, I've told you, what you tune into, you turn into. They're tuning you into the metaverse if you let it consume you. Don't let it consume you. You know, some would argue that that's me. That's you, John. You're talking about yourself. But but no. No one's out here in this space sharing the things and the sentiment that I am with you, taking the time that I am with you for free, helping you build a investment thesis around your portfolio, telling you not to get lost in the narratives and the sauce, while trying to coach you and teach you a skill and a craft that can be utilized for a lifetime to change your life, you know? So stop looking at the charts and being addicted and learn a skill that'll change your reality, you know? So you're not stuck looking at these charts 24/7, not knowing what's going on, confused and panic selling or FOMOing into a market chasing green candles. You know, and if you are going to look at these charts, study them, take something from them, gain knowledge from them. Because if you just sit at the table and look at the price charts going up and down and the percentage gain and, you know, the top gainers of the day wanting to short them, you know, and you don't teach yourself a skill and a craft and learn technical analysis, then you're going to be miserable, you know. But we're buying during these times when it's boring and scary and people are calling us stupid and laughing for, you know, for buying. It's most likely a good time to buy from my experience, not financial advice. And vice versa, to be honest. You know, when everyone's excited and it's extremely euphoric and they're foaming out the mouth when they talk to you about crypto, you know, it's probably not a good time to buy. It's probably a great time to de-risk, not financial advice, you know? But when it's really exciting, you don't want to be highly risky. You want to limit your risk, pioneer. And I just believe these are the words that need to be heard right now. Because lately the markets have been up and down and just, and I get it. I do. But after you watch my content for a few months and you apply your mind and you do the work in your life and you utilize your truths, then you're going to develop a tool that you can use to change your reality. My work is a tool, pioneers. Use it. It's a tool that is just like a hammer that can be used to build a house or destroy a house. That's your decision. Knowledge only gets elected to wisdom when it has utility. A lot of people, they have knowledge, they know a lot of things. They have a whole library of books, some of them even. But are they using that knowledge? Knowledge is nothing without utility. And it only becomes wisdom when it has utility. Remember that, pioneers. Very valuable lessons. It's really easy to not take my work serious when, especially when I'm trying to release educational and informational artwork that's unique. You know, it's easy to not care. No one else does. I got 3 followers, you know? I get it. People wait to educate themselves and they wait to get into crypto. And, you know, they're the ones that buy tops in the markets and sell bottoms, you know, and get bored at the markets and don't know what's going on. Like now, and like C19 2 years ago, pioneers, you know, happy anniversary. Again, we'll talk about this tonight. We'll break this down. But during these times that are scary and boring and nobody knows what's going on, I'm studying these markets with this skill that I've learned and developed. And I'm sharing it with you all so you can win too, like I am. But you can only do that by planting seeds that your future self will thank you for. And, and that's very bullish, pioneers. We know we're in a very important year. We're in the year of the Shemitah, the 7 year sabbatical cycle that I've warned you about for 7 months. You know? And this has held true to how important it's been, and how volatile and choppy and confusing it's been. We broke a 4 year cycle, a 13-year pattern for Bitcoin. And I do believe we're still moving into a deflationary time period for the world currency, the dollar. Because the wealthiest players are de-risking into the dollar, and that's why we see it continuing to break out above the golden pocket. And this is facts and data. During this 100-year period of a 7 year sabbatical cycle, we've seen this time period become extremely deflationary. And it's typically followed by a market crash. Um, so we're gonna continue to see commodities like oil and gas continue to just run rampage, causing inflation and hyperinflation, which ultimately hurts your purchasing power and spending ability, pioneers. It's not beneficial to you. That's all you need to know. It's gonna hurt you at the pumps. It's gonna hurt you at the grocery stores. And then we're gonna see this whole entire economy collapse, most likely post Shemitah, because that's typically how it happens. So, we already see them building this war narrative that's possibly going to linger on for the next few months and then bring this market down. When we see another catalyst, an event, another narrative, another invisible enemy that the elite can hide behind on the world stage, because they don't want to take the blame for their system that's been falling apart for over 50 years. And if you've followed my work, you know these things are important because I bring them up in almost every video for 2 years. It's nothing new under the sun, pioneers. We're speaking facts, figures, numbers, logic. We're speaking common sense. Sometimes less is more, pioneers. That's why I give you what I give you, the amount I give you, and then I'm gone. So today's a very important time period, being March 13th, 2022. A 2 year anniversary from where we saw the orange guy hand control over to FEMA, and our whole lives changed forever. Being 730 days, we know that's 730 is 73. We know that's the 21st prime number. The 73 is a very powerful number. 7337 tying us into Zeus. Today giving us that 58. We get that 58 in Tetragrammaton and Puppet Master and Remote Control, ladies and gentlemen. Very powerful things that are undeniable and tied around control and God, etc. So very important. Today's the 72nd day of the year. We know how important that number is. It's highly tied to Bitcoin in our work. So something we've been going over for months, keeping an eye on, just making important connections to today, being a 2 year anniversary of the day that our lives changed forever. This is the day that the whole world shut down. We saw the lows come in the stock market and the cryptocurrency market on this day, obviously, 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, being March 12th. So very important connections that I want to go ahead and reiterate for those that have possibly let this time period slip their mind. But we'll continue to connect this date back to Rosh Hashanah being 6 months and 6 days today, or 187 days. We know this is very important, being the murder code. And we saw in the news today that 35 people were killed in Ukraine by a attack on a military base near the Poland border. Very interesting because we know when we type out Poland, we see that it's giving us that 62 and 26. And I thought that was important because we know that today's the 72nd day of the year, like I stated earlier, but it's leaving 293 days left in the year, and that's the 62nd prime number, ladies and gentlemen. So, very important. There's that 62 connection to this news right here coming out of Poland. Poland giving us that 62. And I thought that was important because we stated in our work before that the platinum jubilee of the Queen this previous month in February, oh, sorry, it gave us that 62 as well when we typed that out, tying us back into the Queen, um, who again today was a 6 months and 6 day connection, giving us that 66, and Queen Elizabeth gives us that same 66. Sorry about that. When we type that out as well. So I thought that is very important. We're making these connections right here to some previous work before. We know how powerful this 66 number is today. Very important. We obviously see that 35 people were killed. Not surprising. This is homicide, and dark arts used on the world stage, giving us that same 66 as well that we're seeing right here. So very powerful connections as to why we saw this news on a day that added up to being 187 days to the start of the Shemitah and the Rosh Hashanah Jewish Hebrew New Year. Again, this 187 we get in the Brotherhood of Death, which is Skull and Bones, ladies and gentlemen, and we've been making very powerful connections to these people for quite some time. But again, Skull and Bones being the Brotherhood of Death, giving us that 187 when we type that out again. So very powerful. They're not the only ones. Again, the Society of Jesus and the Jesuit order, they're highly tied to this 187 as well. So very important. These players on the world stage tying us into this murder code, 187. So very important. We see that this is 35 people killed. This is clearly worship to Satan, ladies and gentlemen, giving us that same 35 as you can see down below, as well as Baphomet. So very important. That same 35 connections, tying us into why we saw the news on Newsbreak today tell us about 35 people killed in a Russian attack on a Ukraine military base on the Poland border. I think this has a lot to do with the U.S. wanted Poland to you know, fly planes into Ukraine, and they said they weren't going to do it. And they said that they can arrange for the planes to be purchased by the U.S. and that they can fly them in using Poland planes and American soldiers. But I don't think the U.S. wanted to do that. They wanted somebody else to fly in so that they can, create a war. But who's gonna, I'm just saying that's what happened. So now we're seeing this narrative come out of Poland. So not surprising, ladies and gentlemen, that we see this. This is again, they tell you right here, 2.6 million refugees. Again, being the mirror of 62, we get in Poland. Not surprising. And again, NATO, when we type that out, not surprising today. Let's type out NATO and see. Talking about, because they want to bring NATO involvement in this. We get the 58 and 22. Not surprising. Today adds up to 58 and 22. How about that? You know what I'm saying? There's that 38, and we're seeing an article written today about murder. Not even surprising. When we type out Kabbalah, which is what this is, ladies and gentlemen, Kabbalistic black magic meant to harvest and steal your energy, get the same 38. Not surprising. So very powerful. This is all leading into tomorrow um Pi Day 3.14. It's all about coming full circle, ladies and gentlemen. And we talk about that. Pi Day tomorrow giving us that 26, the mirror of 62 that we're talking about. So not surprising. There's that very important 55 that we made connections to. So we're watching Pi Day tomorrow very closely, ladies and gentlemen, giving us that 33 as well. On March 14th, 2022, 3.14. 3.1 plus 4 is 5. 3.5. That 35. Again, that we were getting in Satan. Remember that. So again, let's pay attention to this day tomorrow. Give Satan giving us that 55 as well. God 55, predestination 55, timekeeper 55. We've actually broken that down for quite some time, um, extensively. Ultimately tying us back into the underworld and the lost souls. So very important, this 55 connection. So this time period, obviously, while we're seeing this price action in the charts with cryptocurrency, the future economy, not surprising. We were battling uh, and holding 38K most of the day until after the close, roughly 40 minutes ago. So again, and I'll show you, we probably closed yesterday at 38K. We closed it green. Yeah, 38.8. So, we're already down roughly $1,000 for Bitcoin, 2.63% on you know, this is the March 13th candle right here. Um, I'm sorry. Boom. This will be reading the March 14th candle right here, really. Um, Markets closed at 7. Well, I'll have to check on the time and see if that changed today. As a matter of fact, they might close at 8 o'clock, so that's pretty important. We could be closing today's candle on March 13th at 37K. I have to pay attention to that. But very important, again, that 37 that we're seeing right here ties us into Pisces, ultimately, giving us that same 37, and Zeus as well. So, very important. Just some connections I want to make with you all. Some things that I was seeing in the charts. I know we've continued to see this narrative around war, etc., going on in the price charts, taking and showing its effects. Obviously this started on a very scripted day, 2/23. We got the news on 2/24 of this Russia-Ukraine war, and I've shared with you all in the past that obviously Russia-Ukraine war gives us that 2/24. It happened on the Thursday. We get that 1/16 and Thursday as well. None of this is surprising. We talked about that 73 today, being a 730-day connection to the 2-year anniversary of the day FEMA gained control from the orange guy today, 2 years ago. That highly ties us into 21. 73 is the 21st prime number. So none of this is surprising when you understand how to utilize this code and understand what's going on. All right, we'll go ahead and get into you know, a little bit more of the price charts and market sentiment, philosophical mindset. I just wanted to give you that decode, with this very powerful connection to this Russia-Ukraine nonsense that we're seeing. We know that the mayor has recently been abducted, they said. So I don't know. I'm not paying it very, very much attention, but I've put some wild projections out there as to what we could possibly see moving forward, and you know, some some possible news on the world stage. So yeah, we'll just have to continue to see how this plays out. We know that this 7-year period typically brings war to finish off a lot of this nonsense that we see throughout the history of the world. 2015 crisis, 9/11, dot-com bubble, even going back to the 30s and the 60s. It's very important that we do this research and understand where we're at in this time loop that they obviously continue to play out on the world stage. So very important. Recently, we've seen this sideways, choppy, boring price action that I've talked about, and we broke out of this firmament and this dome on March 1st. Very important that we started off the true new year bullish, and we closed February bullish as well. We wanted to get above that 39-40K. Same tonight. We really didn't want to close below this 38-39K range. We wanted to see the same as last week. Sunday night close, very bullish. We're not really getting that this week, and obviously that's nothing to be scared about. We can continue to see we're holding this trend line that I've had drawn for quite some time. Not surprising. Um, it's shown major confluence and absorption around this trend line. So this definitely shows me that this is a level um of importance right here. So anything below that, we'll definitely have another story to come out and talk about because this is again a trend line and it doesn't hold that much importance. But can we wick down below that and be bought right back up? Of course. Um, that's not important. But we've seen this before, and I've talked about how we can continue to see this be a choppy, sideways, boring price action time period, draining all the way out into the end of March as well. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. But again, I had this chart fixed a minute ago when I first got on it to show you. We've talked about how we can draw this bars pattern to this time period right here to our 69K top and then pull it over. And that gives us a very, you know, inverse head and shoulders pattern playing out here that could possibly take us to another 72K top. My prediction of a 72K blow off top for Bitcoin for quite some time now, several months. So after we were sideways back here, we saw a breakout. You know, we literally traded through this firmament and set a low before coming up and seeing how this firmament played out. And it's kind of like what we're doing now. And I've shared this with you in the past how this could possibly take us out to around March 22nd or March 23rd, that 3-2-1 date on the 21st. So, we've been treating this area underneath this 236 level of the Fibonacci extension level for quite some time now. And that's showing me that we're continuing to struggle to get above 41K. And why is that 41K so important? Because it ties us back into our skull and bones homeboys who obviously run the show, ladies and gentlemen, giving us that 41 and that 76. So not surprising. There was a amazing connection I saw when we tied this day to our last eclipse in December, our massive sell off to 42K. We're getting that 3 months, 9-day connection and this 99-day connection in that 3 months, 9 days, tying us into Jupiter. And again, that 39,000 K range that we can't seem to break back above and hold multiple daily closes um, above, treating it as support. So this is very important when I see these numbers tied to this day, it being 14 weeks and 1 day, that very powerful 1,1,4 deoxyribonucleic acid, your Jacob's ladder, highly ties us to this period right here. We know how it affected the markets on December 12th. We had that bias call of a 72,000K coming in that day, and we saw it drop exponentially down to 42K, retesting this 236 level of the Fibonacci extension and retracement. So definitely why I'm bringing that up right now. Just some importance that I'm seeing. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this. I don't really like to, do plagiarism and draw bars patterns like that, I don't think it holds too much confluence. But today, being 123 days since our top in the markets of 69K, I think that's very important that we're seeing this. That very symbolic 1, 2, 3 on 313. Today we know is the real first of the new year, so it's really 113. So this misinformation around this news, we know how important this 113 is. It ties us into dead celebrity 113, not true 113, disinfo 113, you know, a bunch of things that ties into the Babylonian Talmud and the Baba Kamal, which basically means bullshit 113. So very important, you guys. Not surprising that we see these things. Remember, 149 is the 35th prime number. So again, we talked about how important that 35 is today because 35 people were killed in Ukraine is what the news tells us. The north, east, west, south, the broken compass designed to keep you confused and lost, ladies and gentlemen. So not surprising. And very important connections that we're making here on the Daily Candle Close News. Just wanting to share with you all. the importance in using this code, this 123 that we're getting heading into Pi Day tomorrow. It's not surprising because pi is, well, I've got it pulled up for you all right here. In case you didn't know, 3.14, obviously 3 plus 1 plus 4 is 3.5, 3.5. Remember that. But obviously pi is the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter. So again, coming back full circle. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water, please. All right. So we know in my work I teach you it's about coming back full circle. And when we type out circles, oh, sorry you guys, circumference, we're getting that very powerful 1, 2, 3. And that's important because today's the 72nd day of the year, and we saw that earlier when I made this connection to today being the 72nd day of the year. Not surprising that everything is leading into pi tomorrow, 3.14, full circle. So very important. It ultimately ties us back into our Ouroboros, the life, death, rebirth, the dragon that ate its own tail, and came back to life. So obviously it continues to eat its own tail, and it never dies. So very bullish. Boom, giving us that 1, 2, 3. So very important. We know how powerful that is. It all ties us back into mankind, ladies and gentlemen. We're mankind. That 66-day connection, 6 months, 6-day connection to the start of Rosh Hashanah and the Shemitah we were getting today. Very powerful. Just wanted to share this with you all. My work, it's very powerful and undeniable. Pi is a constant, ladies and gentlemen, in mathematical equations. It is known as a constant. And it's important because we get that 47 when we type that out. We get that 110 ultimately sums to 11. We know new beginnings, etc. Life, death, rebirth ultimately sums in endings and beginnings. But time is giving us that same 47. Well, time's a constant, ladies and gentlemen. Same 25 connection we were getting there because it is infinity. Ah. Infinity, giving us that same 52, the mirror of 25, and that 47. Sharing this with you today on a day that is a day leaving 293 days left in the year, being the 62nd prime number. Getting the 26 right here, the mirror of 62. Not surprising, right? Very powerful work we're getting right here. All right. We talked about Pi Day tomorrow, the Russia-Ukraine attack. Ultimately, we know why we're seeing this. It's a Russian attack. They're making Russia look to be the bad guys right here. We saw the Rams. They were losing to the fourth quarter, and then they came back and won. I'm trying to see how this Ukraine BS is going to play out with Ukraine symbolizing the Ram right here, symbolizing Los Angeles right here. Is Ukraine going to pull one out of the hat and come back and defeat Russia with the help of alliances, etc. But anyway, ultimately, this 95 connection we're getting right here ties us into scripted reality, because that's all this is. It's hard to tell people these things, but they freak out. Again, 47 tying us back into time because it's a scripted fucking reality. But very important. We know that we're in the year of the tiger. Giving us that same 59, the mirror of 95, and ultimately we saw this was war, destruction. It ties us into Shiva, the goddess of destruction. So same 76 that's been plaguing our decode tonight as well. So very important that we make these connections. All tying us into NATO and Poland. The homicide we saw of these who practice the dark arts. So very important. None of it surprising, honestly. All right. So with all that being said, you guys, I'm gonna leave this there and come back out and probably try and get another video out in the next few days. I want to share with you all um, just a little bit as to what we were seeing in the price charts. This 37K, not surprising, holding our bottom trend line, and just looking to break this 236 of 41K in the near distant future. With all that being said, you're a divergent and the glitch in the matrix, pioneers. Become it. Take care and God bless. And keep an eye out for tomorrow and let's see what the price action looks like on Monday, Moon Day, Pi Day. God bless, pioneers. Take care and rise. Build your legacies and build your fortress.